This week we take the return flight leaving Faro. This floor's definitely giving Rio vibes though. We get a sneak peek behind the scenes with Faro luggage handlers. We have a nice warm walk to the aircraft, which is always a belter. I find I can't really complain about legroom anymore, as we hit the sky with a great view. I find that really pilots only like one thing, and that's racing each other across the Med. I stay committed to the bog standard checks, even tiny ones, as I see what EasyJet offer on the return to Manchester. So welcome to Faro International Airport. We arrive on this beautiful day to head back on this EasyJet flight to Manchester. This outside area at the front of the airport was an ideal location to sit back and wait out some time, grabbing something to eat before heading into battle through security. The airport is really airy, and once we confirmed our flight, we headed upstairs to security, which was actually well managed, and we went through fairly quickly through a little family section that they had, and it was well done. Once airside and through duty free, we were met with this massive area full of shops, restaurants. It was a really good open space. Not quite sure at this airport where the lounges were. I didn't go looking for them. We hadn't booked in anyway. But we managed to find a quiet corner to sit and wait. I then happened to spot that these service agents unloading this EasyJet aircraft, so of course I had to go and watch them. And as you know, time flies when you're having fun, so it was our turn to go and head to the gate. We headed upstairs and went on our way. Once there, we did have a short wait before being let down the steps, but I've definitely had worse views. We had a short, brisk walk on this lovely day over to this waiting aircraft. This is a 10-year-old Airbus A320, which was delivered new to EasyJet itself. As you can see, legroom isn't too bad. These seats are fairly basic on this aircraft. The inbound A319 seemed to have slightly more comfortable seats. It did what it needed to do, I suppose, as a seat to get us home. These tray tables I'm not a huge fan of personally. I'd much rather prefer them with a little drop down drink holder, cup holder, and those trays that just fold in half. Find them a bit more user friendly. You've got to love the irony on the side of this aircraft as we're all held for 30 minutes. And once everyone on board, I really need to stop complaining about legroom, because the gent next to me was not much taller than me, but boy was he squeezed in. Unfortunately for this guy, it was time to push back and head to the runway. Once in the air, I decided this was the perfect time for a tiny bog standard. I headed to the rear where this tiny little bog was kept clean throughout the flight and looked far newer than the 10-year for this aircraft. So yeah, not the worst turbulence, but still, why do people insist on just ignoring the crew? Now, being the nosy man I am, I'm always looking out through the window, always hoping to see a glimpse of another aircraft, but I've got to say, I don't think I've ever seen pilots racing back to the UK before. We spotted this Jet2 Airways aircraft also heading back to the UK, but they were clearly in a bigger rush than we were. And just like that, we came into Manchester, returning on another drizzly evening on a remote stand, but fortunately it was just a few short steps over to the terminal inside, away from this weather. The other side of the meet and greet here at Terminal 1, which I've got to say was really easy to use, and picking up the keys were just in a little lockbox that you used your code on the screen that they'd printed out for you when you dropped the car off. Didn't even have to speak to anybody. So thanks for watching. If you can drop a like, that would really support the channel, and a sub would be amazing. So see you on the next one. Brilliant, you've stuck around to the end. Check out the outbound journey right here.